If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get alerts when we introduce new videos.
Welcome to the demonstration series for the RUCKUS Analytics Cloud Service for Network Intelligence and Service Assurance. The videos in this series will describe the various views, services, and capabilities of the RUCKUS Analytics platform. In this video, I'll be describing the time and device filtering options that are common in nearly all of the reports that are available in RUCKUS Analytics. So let's get started. Once logged into RUCKUS Analytics, you access all reports by navigating to and expanding Reports on the left side pane. As I click through the list of reports available, on the top right portion of the page, you will see two fields that are available, and many of them for users to adjust the data shown in the report. First, on the far right is the time selection field that currently shows a 2-day date range. Next to that, there's a filtering box that currently shows that I'm looking at all APs, switches, SSIDs, and radios in my network. Now let's take a look at each of these. First up is the time selection field. This field allows you to specify the date range for the data you're viewing. There are 3 defined ranges available that include today, the last 24 hours, and the last 7 days. You can select a custom range as well by simply selecting the starting date and the end date. This can be done by clicking on the dates on the calendar or typing them in the fields at the top of the display. Then click Apply to have the rest of the page update based on your selection. RUCKUS Analytics stores up to 1 year's worth of data, but keep in mind the longer the date range, the more time it will take to populate the screen due to the increase in data that must be collected. Next, let's look at the filtering options. Clicking on the downward pointing triangle opens the filtering options. On the top left, you have the APs or switches tab. As their title implies, these are used to select which APs and switches to include in the report. Both tabs work in the same way. Once selected, 2 panes are present. On the left is the group pane, and on the right is the device pane. Each has a search box to find a specific group or device. However, a group must be selected before you can search for a device in the device pane. Independent of which tab is selected, the group pane is arranged in a hierarchy starting with all systems all the way down to individual AP or switch groups. Checking a box anywhere in the hierarchy will make all devices below that level selectable in the Devices pane on the right-hand side. So if a zone is selected, all AP groups within that zone will be selectable, and if the domain is selected, all zones and AP groups within each of those zones will be selectable. You will notice that as each group is selected, any devices that reside within those groups will be listed in the Devices pane. From here, you have the option to select specific APs or switches. You must select each device you want to include in the report. They can be selected individually, or you can click the checkbox at the top of the pane to select all devices that reside within the selected groups. Sometimes it may be easier to select all devices and then uncheck the devices you don't want. With APs, once those selections are made, you also have the option to select specific SSIDs. By default, all SSIDs are selected until you make any changes. When you click the downward pointing arrow, a selection box opens where you can search for a specific SSID. With a click of a button, you can select or deselect all SSIDs, or you can click on multiple individual items by pressing the Control key while clicking on an SSID. Once the SSIDs are selected, you have the option to further filter on a specific radio. Simply check the box for either 5 GHz or 2.4 GHz to view data only related to that radio. Now let's jump over to the Switch tab. Here we'll go ahead and select the same network, which includes 2 switches. I'll go ahead and select both of them. Notice that there are no other options for filtering switches. You only filter on devices. Okay, now that all selections are made, we have a few options. Clicking Clear Selection will remove all configured filters in the filter window, but will not impact the report that's in the background. Clicking Reset when available will clear all filters, exit the filter view, and refresh the report without any filters applied. Clicking Cancel will remove any changes made in this instance of accessing the filters, meaning if the report was already filtered and you were attempting to further filter the data, Cancel would revert back to the previous filter settings. Clicking Apply will refresh the report, only populating it with the data from the devices that were selected. Now clicking Create allows you to save the filter for future use. A dialog box will appear, allowing you to name the filter. The name can only consist of alphanumeric characters and underscores. We'll go with lab_demo. Now the filter is saved. You can modify the filter by making changes to it and clicking the disk icon, or delete it by clicking on the trash can icon. You're prompted to confirm the change with a pop-up dialog box, and as previously stated, we click Apply to update the report with the selected filters. One more important note is that once a filter is applied, it will stay in place as you move through and view the other available reports in RUCKUS Analytics. As I move through these various reports, you can see the filter names is displayed, the total number of each device type and SSID is displayed, and the radios are displayed. So this completes this presentation describing the time selection and filtering options that are common to most reports in RUCKUS Analytics. I hope you found this information useful and hope you return for more of the presentations in this RUCKUS Analytics series. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation.